Hello and welcome to the Swan Song Project Podcast. My name is Ben Buddy Slack and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project. The Swan Song Project is a charity that helps people facing the end of their lives to write and record their own original songs. And this podcast features different songwriters, and we talk about the craft, how they write their songs, and also a bit about music and bereavement, how that might have helped them. This episode features Jess Baker, also known as Kaninchen, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Jess Baker, also known as Kaninchen. Thanks for joining me, Jess.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. If you've seen these before, I do them in three sections. First, my guest is going to play one of their songs. We'll have a chat about how they wrote that. Section 2, Jess is going to share with us a songwriting tip that might be useful for new songwriters. And then section 3, we're going to talk about a song that's meaningful to Jess in some way relating to bereavement. So I'll hand you over then. If you want to introduce your song and take it away, Jess, I'm going to put you on the big screen.
Yeah. Big screen. I've realised I don't really have a name for this song just right now, but I'm going to go for it. I've got my loop pedal here, so that's what you're hearing.
Don't talk to me today, the news is getting me down. Don't talk to me today, I've got nothing to say. Let's walk into the night, squint through light pollution to make out constellations, to see if they tell us anything at all. God, I'm so angry, I feel the pain in my skin. Where are all the bees? My patience is wearing thin. Let's walk into a sea, let it take us down. Talk to all the fish to see if they know what to do. I am only one, and we are only two. She made us a three, for her I'll plant the trees.
But yeah, that's great, Jess. So that's the untitled one. Is that a new song?
It's end of last year, I think. I wrote it. I was trying to write a song for my daughter Willow, because when she was 1 year old, 6 years ago now, I wrote a song called Willow Willow, and I wanted to write her another one that was a little bit more upbeat. But we'd just been, do you know, it must have been quite a long time ago, because it was April when we stood in London with Extinction Rebellion. So it was we were feeling all like fired up about climate change. So that was just going through my mind. So as I was trying to write this like lovely song for Willow, all this sort of climate change anger was coming out. But and then at the end, I think Willow's tiny line at the end is, for her I'll plant the trees. So that's where the song sort of goes into Willow territory.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of came full circle in a way.
Yeah, it did. And the way I wrote that song, I normally sing all the loops in live and record them live, but I haven't. Those little backing bits, they came from just me improvising. So I just was messing around and I captured them. And I was like, oh, I like that. And I've not really managed to pull apart exactly what I did. So they're quite glitchy. Like the second loop has a little like, has like a little disgusting mouth noise in it. But so I've just been using those original sort of improvisations that I did, and I need to sit and pull it apart and just make it a little bit neater for when I'm actually recording it at some point.
Oh, that is cool. I like things like that where it's like it's just it's done in improvisation and then almost just like trusting that's what it is. And obviously it's nice to be able to replicate things again, but
I do
something
always
special about that.
I try and sort of increasingly, especially when stuff gets complicated, I record a bit and I like it, and then I get my phone and like try and sing the separate parts into my phone as I'm doing it, so that I can pull it apart at a later date, so that I can perform it, because I like to perform it live. I like to sing it all in live, so it's not pre-recorded.
Yeah. I'd recommend the listeners to check out the Willow Willow song you mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Which is, it's great. So when is that how you often write? You get an idea like for like a lyrical thing, and then you riff on that until you find, or do you start with like some of your bass harmonies, or is there a particular method, or does it vary?
Because I'm always writing with a pedal. I mean, very rarely I'll do like I just did one on ukulele a while back, but it's more and more pedal. So I'll stand, and most of it will start just messing around with no words at all, and I'll capture something, and like I must have like 30 just random bits and bats on this pedal that I've not finished yet, but I haven't even got words. They're just sort of harmonic ideas or some harmonies. So mainly I'll just get going with a groove or a harmony or some sort of nonsense, and then it'll come later, the words come later. Or like with that one, I did think I'm going to write a song for Willow, and it's hardly about Willow actually, that song, apart from at the end. But yeah, and sometimes there's this book here actually. I've written a couple of songs just using words from this book, which is such a beautiful Dr. Seuss book. And I've got a song that's completely, it's not, none of them are my words, they're all Brian Cox's words from one episode of his series, Wonders of the Earth, Wonders of Life. That's his series. So lyrics come from everywhere.
yeah, that's a great song as well. I'd recommend people checking that out. It's a really fascinating way of writing. It must be very fun and very free to play around with things like that. I remember we used to do a podcast years ago with my band that Jess came on one time and brought the loop pedal, and you gave us a demo of how to do it, and we played around with it a bit. So I really struggle with technology with that kind of stuff. So it's super impressive when you see Jess doing it live, to be working the station whilst performing. But it must be a lot of fun to develop the ideas that way and be that much in control of the systems.
I kind of I like it, but also there's only so much you can do, which is nice. You're working with these restraints, which I suppose you are when you write with a guitar or when you write with anything really. But I have added stuff to it. So I've got a chaos pad, and I've got a harmony pedal. So I've just written a new song recently that uses the harmony pedal. So it's like instant harmony rather than me having to sing it in. So it means it's quicker to get going. So I do find myself expanding my technology to be able to, like, because I know I got the chaos pedal because I wanted some like cool reverbs and some filters on my voice and stuff like that. So it does expand and it shifts, but mostly the loop pedal is the main thing. Yeah,
it's great stuff. Thanks for that. So let's move into section 2 now, shall we? This is where I ask my guests for a songwriting tip that might be useful for new songwriters. So what tip would you share with us, Jess?
Oh, I've been racking my brain, because but actually I just keep it simple, because this is one thing I do, so I find it useful, is I always have my phone and I use voice memos a lot. So I'll be out and I might, because like I said, most of my ideas are not lyrical to start off with, they're something. So I'll have a little like, and something will be coming, I'll just record it in, just like while I'm walking down the street or on the bus. And so I've got like hundreds of voice memos of like fragments, and sometimes I never even revisit them, but I think sometimes it's useful to get it out and feel like you're creating and capture things. And at the moment, actually in lockdown, I'm singing in the shower a lot, and I'll often come up with a little bit in the shower, and I've been recording it as soon as I get out. So I think I'm going to try and make these sort of lockdown shower songs.
That's a good idea.
So that's my tip. Just some people carry around a notebook, don't they, if you're more of a lyric person, just to sort of scribble stuff down. I know I get most of my ideas when I'm watching other people do their thing, and you're just like, yeah, I like that, or I would do that differently, or it might just set you off on a little path if you see someone else do something.
Yeah, it's a good one. I find that like sometimes when I get some kind of idea, there's some kind of either rhythm or hint of a tune to it in some way that I'd think about it. But I very rarely record voice memos, and I'm more of a note taker. But one of the things that I feel, and there's been times I've done it, but one of the things that I would feel a bit restricted with it is feeling embarrassed if I'm in public somewhere to do it. Is that something that you ever have an issue with, or like could you pretend that you're on the phone and just singing to someone?
Do you know, I just do it.
Just do it.
I just do it. I remember, I'll try not wang on about this, but you've just brought back this memory of my dad, when we used to go to the supermarket with my dad on Saturdays, and every time at the checkout when he was getting his wallet out, he used to go bum, 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 bum. And I always used to notice that he sang at the checkout, like quietly. And I don't even realise, I'll have to ask him if he even knows that he did that or that he does it. There is something about singing in public, isn't there? Quite interesting. But I do have a little, I'm all right. I'll just sing. I have a little sing on my phone.
And that's a good point, because I think like that is a thing that's quite common, isn't it? People to have sing those little tunes at different times. But like, I guess it happens quite often that you don't register it that much, so it probably isn't as, it's probably not as, you don't need to be as embarrassed about it as I might feel at times if I was going to start.
Have you ever whistled if you whistle in a supermarket, other people will start whistling. They won't even know they're doing it. Whistling, supermarkets aren't very nice at the moment, are they? But if you just have a little whistle in a supermarket, it like passes on like a yawn.
Nice.
Try it out.
I'll give it a try, yeah. Do the mask.
People won't be able to tell you whistling.
Be a guess who of who's actually whistling this time. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that's a really good one. And most phones nowadays come with voice memos, don't they? So people can do them. And, yeah, and even if you don't go back to them, it's like at least you've got the idea out and kind of.
Just feels like getting it out.
I remember always hearing that's how Keith Richards came up with the Satisfaction riff. I remember hearing that story that apparently he woke up in the night and just had that riff in his head, and then he just got up and recorded himself just singing it. I think that's the story I heard. That one, yeah. And then it's like imagine if he just got up and like, nah, I'm too tired, I'm just going to bed, and hadn't got that riff. How much we'd all missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. So let's move into section 3 now. So this is where I ask my guests to choose a song that's meaningful to them in some way relating to bereavement. So which song did you choose first, Jess?
I chose Bed of Roses by Bon Jovi.
Good stuff, good choice. So what I do here, if you're not familiar with the song, I'll put the link in the description and you can go and check it out. And if you're not familiar with that with it, and come back and we're going to have a bit of a chat about it. So what made you choose that song first, Jess?
It's an epic ballad. Well, I was racking my brains now, I was, but it just kept coming back to this song for me because actually I went digging for some photos. Bon Jovi was the first concert that me and my best friend when I was like 14, 15, look, that's us in our Bon Jovi t-shirts. Nice. It was our first concert. We loved Bon Jovi. And she died when we were 18. And at her funeral, they had all the we had Circle of Life, Pack of Bells, Cannon, James Blunt, You're Beautiful, that song. And I was like, oh. And then I was speaking to her mum afterwards, and her mum, we used to keep these diaries, me and Jenny. And her mum said in a diary, Jenny had written that she wanted Bed of Roses at her funeral because we were morbid. We wrote what we wanted at our funerals when we were like 14, 15. I remember doing it. And Jenny had written that she wanted Bed of Roses, but her mum didn't know that stuff. So she was like, what is Bed of Roses? And I was like, it's Bon Jovi. That would have been a great... But actually, it wouldn't have been a good funeral song. Bed of Roses, it's not an appropriate funeral song. But and now every time I think about Bed of Roses or I hear it, I think about Jenny because that was a song that we used to love and that she'd requested it for a funeral, even though she didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a special song.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's interesting, that, isn't it, of songs that are appropriate to funerals. And I remember being at one a while ago where there was the song, everyone walked out at the end of the funeral, and it was I won't say what it was, but it was a song that was just a big surprise to hear at a funeral. But it felt very fitting to the person. And so at first I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that. But I was like, oh, actually, it kind of makes sense. It did seem like something they would like. But yeah, it's a delicate balance of choosing those songs, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's In fact, I just heard that song the other day. Someone was singing it while they were in my presence, and I was like, oh, Bed of Roses.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah, nice. Good stuff, Jess. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, I'll tag the Kaninchen pages. I highly recommend everyone going checking out your stuff. And yeah, I'll be back with another episode soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers, Jess.